Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 36th Annual Missing Children's Day ceremony here at the Great Hall in the Department of Justice. We'll begin our ceremony with the presentation of the colors. Please rise and remain standing until the colors are retired. I'd like to introduce the Color Guard from Garfield High School's Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps, who will present the colors. The national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance will follow, so please remain standing. Please present the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to thank the Garfield High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC for the presentation of the colors, and Senior Master Sergeant Bradley Bennett from the U.S. Air Force Band for singing the national anthem. Will the audience please be seated? All right. I'd like to welcome and thank all of you for joining us today, especially the members of Congress and their staff, our speakers, Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General Edward O'Callaghan, Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General Matt Dummermuth, John Clark, Yvonne Ambrose, and our awardees and poster contest winner. In 1983, President Ronald Reagan issued a proclamation that established May 25th as the National Missing Children's Day. President Reagan encouraged government officials and law enforcement everywhere to do more to protect children, particularly missing and exploited children. This Saturday marks the 36th anniversary of National Missing Children's Day. Since that first observance, we have made tremendous strides in creating safer environments for our children. Today, OJJDP supports the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Internet Crimes Against Children, or ICAC Task Force Network, and the nationwide Amber Alert Training and Technical Assistance Program. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children was created in 1984 to build a coordinated national response to missing and sexually exploited children. In 2018, the National Center's cyber tip line received and made available to law enforcement more than 18 million reports and notified hosting providers more than 67,000 times regarding child sexual abuse content on their platforms. In 2018, the National Center's Child Victim Identification Program processed more than 4,600 cases from law enforcement and reviewed nearly 39 million files for victim identification purposes. Thanks to the National Center, we have many more tools and resources to respond to child abductions and to bring children home safely. OJJDP created the ICAC program in 1998 to help end cyber threats to children. It has since grown into a national network of 61 coordinated task forces representing more than 4,500 law enforcement and prosecutorial agencies engaged in investigating and criminally prosecuting online child victimization. In fiscal year 18, ICAC task force programs conducted more than 71,000 investigations and over 84,000 forensic examinations. These efforts resulted in the arrests of more than 9,000 individuals. Additionally, the ICAC program trained over 46,000 law enforcement personnel and more than 2,900 prosecutors and upwards of 14,000 other related professionals working in the ICAC field. OJJDP continues to develop and support many other resources for law enforcement and citizens to ensure the safety of our nation's children. In that vein, our office is pleased to announce the release of the Amber Alert Field Guide for law enforcement officers. This guide will help law enforcement personnel become stronger and even more confident contributors to their jurisdiction's Amber Alert programs. Last month, during the Amber Alert Symposium in Arizona, we also released the second edition of the Amber Alert Best Practices Guide. We took input from those on the ground carrying out the day-to-day work of leading, administering, and executing Amber Alerts to provide a what works approach to fostering an environment conducive to recovering missing children. In April of 2018, the President signed into law the Ashland Mike Amber Alert in Indian Country Act to help improve and expand the program throughout Indian Country. Our office continues to make strides towards implementing Amber Alert programs in Indian Country in support of that act. We have finalized a report to Congress on our efforts in Indian Country and will be hosting an Amber Alert in Indian Country symposium on July 30th and August 1st in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The symposium is an opportunity for representatives from tribal communities to meet with OJJDP, other federal and state officials, and other stakeholders to exchange information and share best practices about implementing Amber Alert plans within tribal communities. All of the efforts OJJDP has supported in the area of child protection are highlighted in our 2018 annual report, which I am thrilled to announce will be released very soon. The report describes more than $104 million in awards our office made in 2018 to protect children and enhance public safety. Despite the progress we've made, we're here today remembering those sons and daughters, brothers and sisters who have not come home and for whom the search will never end. Anyone at any time can make the difference in the safe recovery of a missing and exploited child. Today, we have gathered to recognize law enforcement officers and citizens who, through determination, quick thinking, decisive and collaborative actions, made the difference in the lives of children in peril. Although he has been at the helm of the Office of Justice Programs for only 8 months, I have come to greatly appreciate the leadership of our next speaker. Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General Matt Dummermuth is absolutely committed to the efforts of our office to keep children safe. As the National Amber Alert Coordinator, Matt has been critical in shaping our response to missing and exploited children, and he provides strong guidance in our fight against the sexual exploitation and trafficking of children. Thank you for all you're doing for us, Matt. I'm happy to present to you Matt Dummermuth.
Thank you, Karen. It's a privilege to join you as we recognize these outstanding men and women, 19 of them, as well as one exceptional young person, for their service on behalf of children in America. In just a moment, I'll have the honor of joining Karen and Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General Ed O'Callahan to present this year's National Missing Children's Day Awards. Improving the response to missing and exploited children is a top priority of the Department of Justice and a long-standing personal concern of mine. As U.S. Attorney a decade ago, my office in the Northern District of Iowa charged and convicted a record number of child exploitation cases each year I was there. It's one of my most proud accomplishments during my tenure. But one case in particular stands out to me even today. It involved two siblings, a 9-year-old girl and her 13-month-old sister, who were both photographed as they were sexually assaulted. We never recovered the images, which makes prosecution difficult in a production of child pornography case like that. So we had to rely on the testimony of several witnesses, including two girls who had been molested by the same perpetrator. Sadly, the 9-year-old was not among our witnesses. She had been abducted and murdered by the child pornography producer's brother. However, we were fortunately able to win a conviction, and that perpetrator is now serving a 100-year federal sentence in prison. But that little girl's death has remained for me a sobering reminder of the need for constant vigilance when it comes to the safety of children. And it's why I'm grateful for the work that all of you do, especially what the award winners do. And I'm proud to be a part of what the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention gets to do every day. Many families owe the safety of their children to the brave recipients we're about to honor, and we all owe them a debt for their remarkable commitment and determination. So on behalf of all of us at the Department of Justice, I say thank you for your outstanding service and congratulations on these well-deserved honors. Thanks. It's now my privilege to introduce our next speaker. Ed O'Callahan has served as second in charge of the Deputy Attorney General's office for more than a year. Prior to that, he was part of the leadership of the department's National Security Division. Earlier in his career, he was an accomplished federal prosecutor in the Southern District of New York, where he was the lead on a number of significant fraud and corruption cases. And he continued his work fighting fraud, money laundering, and corruption as an attorney in the private sector before joining Justice Department headquarters in 2017. He's been a strong supporter of our work at the Office of Justice Programs, and he's a steadfast ally in our work to protect children and bring child exploitation perpetrators to justice. It's an honor to have him with us today. So please welcome Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General Ed O'Callahan.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Matt, for all that you do leading our Office of Justice programs. And it's my privilege to welcome everyone to the Department of Justice and this wonderful great hall. Let me begin by also thanking Administrator Karen Harp and our Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention for organizing today's ceremony and for everything they do to keep America's children safe. I want to express my appreciation to John Clark and our friends at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for their tireless commitment in advocating on behalf of the victims and families of missing and exploited kids. The Department of Justice and the National Center are longtime partners, a partnership forged in identifying, rescuing, recovering, and seeking justice on behalf of the most vulnerable among us. While I wish this partnership was unnecessary, I am proud of the work that we have done and the work we will continue to do on behalf of the United States and the child victims. I also want to thank Ms. Ambrose for being part of our ceremony here today. I had some time to speak with you beforehand. I greatly appreciate the moments that we had to talk. My heart is broken for the loss that you have suffered, and I know that you miss Desiree terribly. And our prayers go out always to you and your family. But please know that we are very grateful for all that you have done and continue to do on behalf of exploited children, raising awareness of the risks with parents, and advocating for children and their families with lawmakers. We are honored to have you here today. Let me also congratulate the remarkable group of public servants we recognize here today. I won't go through the whole list, but just a brief description. A Broward County Sheriff's Detective whose diligent work resulted in jail sentences for 3 child pornographers. An outstanding team of federal, state, and local investigators that led a manhunt from Texas to Colorado to recover 2 abducted girls. 2 firefighters who found a missing 6-year-old boy in the mountains of Tennessee. And another federal, state, and local team whose excellent investigative work ended the serial exploitation perpetrated by an abuser masquerading as a foster parent. These extraordinary men and women displayed ingenuity, commitment, and incredible resolve, the qualities we so often take for granted in our public safety officers, but that are magnified in these exceptional individuals. They truly are the best of the best, and we're grateful for them here today. Finally, let me congratulate our poster award winner, Madison Dozier from Alexander, Kentucky. I had the opportunity and the pleasure to meet with Ms. Dozier before the ceremony today, and all I can say is well done and keep up the good work. We're very proud of you. The Department of Justice is proud to stand with these heroes and with the hundreds of thousands of hardworking peace officers across the country. This administration has given its unqualified support to those who protect our children and our communities because we understand what's at stake. These brave men and women are our first line of defense against violent criminals, and they are often our last hope when children go missing and are put in harm's way. It is because of this work that we support the work of the 61 ICAC task forces across the country. As you had heard from Karen, those teams of federal, state, and local agents investigate tens of thousands of cases a year, and they take thousands of abusers and exploiters off the streets. In each of the last 2 years, we've made available approximately $30 million to support ICAC investigations, operations, equipment, and software purchases, and training and technical assistance. The President's budget request for the next fiscal year proposes adding an additional $5 million to that investment so the ICACs can continue doing their important work. We're also working closely with the NCMEC to improve the way its indispensable cyber tip line contributes to the work of those task forces. NCMEC is working to make investigators' work easier by increasing the number of cyber tip line analysts working with the ICAC program and by facilitating the exchange of cyber tip information to make investigators' work easier. Our Project Safe Childhood program is another long-standing asset in our fight to protect children, and it remains as robust as ever. All of our U.S. Attorney's offices, in coordination with the Justice Department's Child and Exploitation and Obscenity Section and federal and local law enforcement agencies, are working under the umbrella of the Project Safe Childhood to bring perpetrators of child exploitation to justice. Almost every day, we announced a new arrest or conviction. Just a week and a half ago, a judge ordered a 35-year prison sentence against a Nebraska man who pled guilty to sex crimes involving a 13-year-old child who was unable to speak. During the course of the investigation, officers found the man to be in possession of hundreds of pornographic images of young children. Project Safe Childhood regularly brings people like this to justice. The Department of Justice is committed to protecting all children, and we will continue to vigorously pursue justice on behalf of these young victims. Our efforts to combat child exploitation are under continuous refinement, and we're working diligently to update the department's national strategy on child exploitation prevention and interdiction. Stacey Harris, who's with us here today, is my office's designated point person here, and she has been conferring regularly with law enforcement officials, and I can attest, working late into the night, and child advocates to make sure that our approach to this issue is informed by the best thinking and the most innovative ideas. We are truly fortunate to have Ms. Harris with us on staff. She's been an enormous addition and contribution to the efforts in this area, so thank you, Stacey. These are just a few of the actions the Department of Justice has taken in the fight to recover missing and exploited children. It is a hard fight against some of the most devious and dangerous criminals, perpetrators bent on using our youngest citizens for their own depraved purposes. But make no mistake, they will not succeed. They will not succeed because of professionals like the men and women we honor here today, people like Ms. Ambrose, who are dedicating their life's work now to keep the message up and keep the voices of children heard from neighborhoods to the halls of Congress. All these professionals' work and their fierce commitment to decency and justice will allow us to prevail over the darkest instincts of the worst people in our society. Finally, to our award recipients, we are grateful for your service. We stand in awe of your accomplishments, and we are proud to recognize you for all that you have done and continue to do to protect America's children. On behalf of the Attorney General and all of us at the Department of Justice, thank you all and congratulations.
Thank you, Ed. We sure appreciate you being here with us today, and we are so grateful for the department's steadfast support of this important work. All right, it's now my honor to present our first award. That's why we all came, right? You really want to see these awards. It's my honor to do that, and this award recognizes, this is the Attorney General's Special Commendation. This award recognizes Internet Crimes Against Children task forces or affiliates for making significant investigative or program contributions. This year's special commendation goes to the South Florida ICAC Task Force, represented by Detective Lorraine Shepanek and the Broward County Sheriff's Office in Fort Lauderdale. Late in 2017, Detective Shepanek was assigned to two cyber tips from Google and Tumblr, each containing an image of child pornography. Detective Shepanek's investigation revealed that one suspect was the reported user in both cyber tips. On March 14, 2018, Detective Shepanek conducted a knock and talk at the suspect's residence, where he admitted to looking at and downloading child pornography on his cell phone. Based on the admission, Detective Shepanek secured the residence and obtained a search warrant for his residence and vehicle. The executed warrant and partial forensic examination revealed numerous videos and images of child pornography. The Broward State's Attorney's Office charged the subject with 12 counts of possession of child pornography and 1 count of compiling child pornography. A full forensic examination of the suspect's electronic devices revealed thousands of images and videos of child pornography that included toddlers and infants. Detective Shepanek combed through the suspect's digital chats and online communication and discovered that he was actively trading child pornography with 3 other suspects. Detective Shepanek was able to positively identify all 3 suspects, 2 of whom resided in South Florida. Due to the large amount of child pornography located on the suspect's devices and the fact that he was trading with multiple suspects, Detective Shepanek reached out to the South Florida U.S. Attorney's Office to assist with the case. Using her task force credentials with the FBI, Detective Shepanek obtained a federal search warrant for the residences of both suspects in South Florida. The search found both suspects in possession of numerous child pornography images and videos. The suspects confessed and were arrested on the scene. All 3 suspects were federally indicted and subsequently pleaded guilty to possession of child pornography. In December of 2018, each received a lengthy prison sentence, followed by sex offender probation. This is outstanding work. Congratulations, Detective Shepanek. Please join us on stage. All right. Our next award is the Missing Children's Law Enforcement Award. This award recognizes the extraordinary efforts of a law enforcement officer who made a significant investigative or program contribution to the safety of children. This year's award goes to 10 individuals from 4 different law enforcement agencies in Texas. They include Sergeant Darren Bales, Detective Bernardo Villegas, Lieutenant Robert Drawbaugh, Crime Scene Specialist Carrie McGowan, Detective Robert Watts, and Detective Kevin Bender of the Round Rock Police Department in Round Rock, Texas. Special Agent Sean Mullen and Special Agent Jacob Bailey with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, San Antonio Field Office, Austin Resident Agency in Austin, Texas. Special Agent Andrew Masters, Federal Bureau of Investigation, San Antonio Field Office, Laredo Resident Agency in Laredo, Texas. I think he's now in the Honolulu Field Office. Ranger Gary Phillips, Texas Ranger Division, Texas Department of Public Safety in Austin. On New Year's Eve in 2017, Ranger Gary Phillips and FBI Special Agent Jake Bailey responded to the scene of a homicide in Round Rock, Texas. A woman had been murdered in her home, and her 7 and 14-year-old daughters were missing. The woman's roommate had stolen her car and was a person of interest in the murder and abductions. Understanding that time is of the essence when children are missing, Phillips and Bailey made sure that an Amber Alert was issued immediately, and crime scene specialist Carrie McGowan began processing the scene. The suspect was initially thought to be en route to Louisiana, where he had a long criminal history, including charges of attempted murder, rape, and pornography involving juveniles. Soon, credible sightings of the suspect were reported in northern New Mexico and southern Colorado. Officials began issuing both a juvenile endangerment alert and then an Amber Alert in Colorado. The Round Rock Police Department, led by Lieutenant Robert Drawbaugh, held 3 press conferences, including one in which surveillance images were released of the alleged suspect. Round Rock Police Sergeant Darren Bales, the incident commander for the initial investigation, appeared on the HLN channel's Crime and Justice program on national cable television to inform the public about the investigation. Through a combination of forensic processing of digital evidence conducted by the Round Rock Police Department's forensic detectives Kevin Bender and Bob Watts, cell phone analysis led by FBI Special Agent Andy Masters, interviews, surveillance images, and tips from the public, investigators found consistent evidence that the suspect was in fact with the girls in Colorado. The team nominated for this award worked all hours of the day and night during this 4-day manhunt, determined to bring these girls home safely. And on January 3rd, 2018, the 2 sisters were found unharmed with the suspect approximately 700 miles away near La Vida, Colorado, during a traffic stop. As Los Animas County Sheriff's Deputy Darian Dasco, who was on the lookout because of the Amber Alert, arrested the suspect on the spot. The next day, Sergeant Bales and Detective Bernie Villegas, I apologize for anything I'm doing to your names, the leader investigator in the case, traveled to Colorado to interview the suspect. He was extradited back to Texas and subsequently indicted on federal kidnapping charges. FBI Special Agent Sean Mullen also played a pivotal role as the federal lead agent for the case, who coordinated the evidence collection for a federal prosecution. Here's something you need to be aware of. Just yesterday, U.S. District Judge Lee Yackel sentenced Terry Allen Miles to life in the federal prison. Thank you all, and congratulations. Please join me on stage.
Thank you.
All right, our next award is the Missing Children Citizen Award. This award recognizes private citizens for extraordinary acts that lead to the safe recovery of missing or abducted children. This year's award goes to firefighters Aaron Woods and Mike Webb with the Blount County Fire Department in Maryville, Tennessee. On April 23rd, in 2018, the Blount County Fire Department received a call that a 6-year-old boy had left his home around 6 p.m. and wandered into the woods with his dog. The department immediately began assembling a team of about 100 first responders from the Blount County Sheriff's Office, the National Guard, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation to scour 2,000 acres of rugged, wooded terrain on foot and by air on and around Chilliwack Mountain and the top of the World Community Recreation Center, where the child was last seen. Blount County Fire Department Captain Kermit Easterling led one of the first search teams. After 15 hours, the department sent in a team of reinforcements led by Aaron Woods and Mike Webb. It was this team that ended the search 8 hours later, with Woods and Webb finding the boy and his dog 22 hours after the search began. The firefighters covered the boy with several adult jackets and carried him more than 1.5 miles to a medical unit standing by where he received treatment for exposure. He was released from a local hospital later that night. Thank you, Mr. Woods and Mr. Webb. Please join us on stage. Our next award is the Missing Children's Child Protection Award, which recognizes the extraordinary efforts of a law enforcement officer who has made a significant investigative or program contribution to protecting children from abuse or victimization. This year's award goes to 6 individuals from 4 different law enforcement agencies. They include Detective Christy Hirota, Detective James Williams, Detective Melinda Gobron of the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department in Sacramento, California. The Special Agent Scott Schofield, he'll tell me when he gets here, Schofield, with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Sacramento Field Office in Roseville, California. Investigator George Vassalou with the California Highway Patrol in Sacramento, and Detective Avis Beery with the Sacramento Police Department. The efforts of Detective Christy Hirota and the 20-member Sacramento Valley High-Tech Crimes Task Force recently brought a longtime predator to justice. On March 1st of 2018, a citizen reported receiving an SD memory card from an acquaintance, which contained video footage of a partially clothed young boy. He informed officers that the acquaintance was also a foster parent. Patrol officers forwarded the case to the Sacramento Valley High-Tech Crimes Task Force, where Detective Hirota took over. She pulled numerous police and social service reports that showed the suspect had a history of troubling behavior toward juvenile boys dating back to 2011, and alarmingly, that the suspect currently had a foster child in his care. Detective Hirota worked tirelessly on a request for a search warrant and received the judge's final approval for the warrant after midnight. When conducting the search shortly thereafter, Detective Hirota and the task force found evidence of hidden cameras in the suspect's residence that were used to record children in compromising positions. The task force seized multiple items from the suspect's house, including computers and digital storage devices. Through painstaking examination of the seized devices, the team recovered images of several of the suspect's foster children that would qualify as child pornography, including images of one foster child possibly being abused by the suspect himself. Detective Ferrota also interviewed children from prior reports, several of whom said the suspect sexually abused them. Within 48 hours of receiving the patrol officer report, Detective Ferrota had the foster child removed from the suspect's care. Her investigative efforts also led to the suspect being charged not only with producing child pornography, but with molesting 4 children as well. The suspect faces a possible life sentence if he is convicted on all charges. Thank you all. Please join us on stage. Finally, it is my pleasure to recognize this year's winner of the Missing Children Days poster contest. This is an important competition because the winning entry is the image that will grace the ribbons and posters for next year's Missing Children's Day. More than 1,600 students from 33 states participated in this year's contest. This year's winner is Madison Dozier. Madison is a 5th grader from Riley Elementary School in Alexandria, Kentucky. Today, Madison is receiving a plaque, a certificate, and of course, our admiration. Here's what Madison said in describing her poster. I created my poster to show how many children are missing in the United States by creating a house made of puzzle pieces. There are 50 puzzle pieces outside of the house, one for each state, which includes the number of children missing for that particular state. Inside the house are puzzle pieces to demonstrate success stories of children who have been returned home, like Elizabeth Smart, J.C. Duggard, and most recently, Jamie Kloss. To complete the house, we need to find the missing children. Madison, this is beautiful work. This poster is amazing. I know your family and your teachers are very proud. Madison's parents, Melanie and Ronald, her art teacher, Bonita Pack, and the state manager from the Kentucky State Police Intelligence Branch Missing and Exploited Children's Unit, Paige Craig, all made the trip to Washington, D.C. with Madison to share in her award. Can you all please join us on stage, and let's give Madison a round of applause. Where are we here? We also have last year's poster winner, Eden Hoffman. Eden's terrific work inspired the posters and ribbons you see displayed around the department today. She is receiving a copy of her winning poster from us from last year to take home with her. Eden, will you join us on stage? Our next speaker is a longtime friend and partner of OJJDP. John Clark is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Prior to his appointment, John served for 28 years as a U.S. Marshal, the last 6 of those years as the Director of the Marshal Service. He's a longtime child advocate who served for many years on the National Center's Board of Directors before his appointment in 2015. Our nation's children have no greater champion. It's my pleasure to welcome now John Clark.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's a great honor and privilege to be back here, and thank you, Karen, and thank you, Mr. O'Callahan. I know Mr. Dummermuth had to leave a little bit early, but we really appreciate the advocacy and the support of the department. It means a lot. I know many of you are here today that support us. We have a lot of our law enforcement partners here today, members of our board. I also want to always thank and praise our staff back there who work tirelessly to make sure that we are doing all we can to find missing children and stop and prevent child exploitation. So we appreciate all of you, and I'm always pleased to come back. This is one of my favorite events, as we should rightfully draw attention to the plight of missing children in America. For 35 years now, the National Center has been a beacon of hope for so many missing children, exploited children, and their parents and guardians, and their loved ones, and the many people that are in that circle of friends. You know, our call center takes about 300 calls a day from people all over the country, many of them reporting a sighting of a missing child or a situation involving child exploitation, but with compassion and with a sense of purpose. We do all we can to bring them home, and we appreciate, again, the work of our call center. And just last year, our forensic services team age-progressed photos of 199 long-term missing children, bringing renewed hope that some member of the public will deliver the tip that would help us locate that missing child. And to date, that team has done 6,748 age progressions, and 1,665 of those children have been recovered. Photos remain the single most powerful tool in finding missing children, and we're harnessing the power of technology and social media and getting that word out to the public faster than ever, and enabling us to target areas where we can do the most good to find missing children and help bring them home. In fact, I just want to say to Little Madison, your poster and the great work of art that you have done will help us in that effort as well to get the word out there. And your parents and everybody should be very, very proud of your advocacy in helping us to bring attention to missing children. But in fact, I think I found my new favorite bookmark that I'm going to keep for my reading. What there's still troubling to us at the center is the staggering statistic that most missing children are what we call endangered runaways, or young people who have left their homes or places of care for a variety of reasons. It may include some type of trauma in the home, substance abuse, maybe it's bullying at school or other abusive situations. But most, and about 92% of those missing children fit that category of endangered runaways. And even more startling, we know that sex traffickers are actively looking for those vulnerable youngsters. 1 in 7 of those endangered runaways often ends up being sold for sex. We have our work cut out for us for sure, and it will take the collective efforts of all of us here and the dedicated staff, our partners, the Department of Justice and others, to really do all we can to make a difference in finding missing children and stopping child exploitation. To help us in that effort, we spent about 4 years working on a project that will bring, I think, renewed interest to the situation involving missing children. And I'm proud and pleased to show you today a music video that is actually being released today and debuting today. Some of you may remember 25 years ago a band called Soul Asylum and its popular music video, Runaway Train. It featured images of missing children. In fact, it helped recover 21 kids. So we thought, with all the new advances in technology and social media, why not create a new modern 2019 version of Runaway Train using artists and featuring missing children from all over the country. The video at runawaytrain25.com will update itself with children from our NCMEC database and show you children that are missing in your particular area where you are downloading that particular video. So let's take a look at the Runaway Train video on the screen. You can see that full version at the runawaytrain25.com. But I think that video will tug at our heartstrings, and it's going to bring renewed interest to actually helping do more to bring missing children home. We're very, very excited about it. It's debuting today across the country. We're using a lot of our social media and everything to get the word out. And we thought today is a perfect day to let you all see it as well. And we're hopeful that you, in fact, will help keep that going. I'm always delighted as well as we think about this day to just recognize what I call the unsung heroes, our staff and many others that are here today. And when we think of this video and a number of other things that we're trying to do at the center, I always think of how it takes advocates. It takes people who are going to step up and do something. Our next speaker probably doesn't want to be here today. I think probably of all the places she would not want to be, would be at the U.S. Department of Justice, not because she doesn't like any of us or this great building, but because she's had to endure the unspeakable horror of losing a child. Yvonne Ambrose stood beside many in the Oval Office just about a year or so ago as the President signed into law the Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, or the FOSTA law, because she was there on behalf of her daughter Desiree, who was killed brutally by sex traffickers. I've seen Desiree testify on Capitol Hill. She's a force to be reckoned with for sure. But again, I think in any of those situations is not where a parent ever wants to be. But now I think she's made it her purpose in her cause to bring attention to those who are being harmed by traffickers, the situation in our world where this has been perpetuated and is actually growing. But I am pleased that she's turned the tragedy and the heartbreak into a call to action and has really taken the cause not only to the Capitol Hill and around the country, but she is making a difference in helping to stop and prevent the terrible thing of child sex trafficking. So it's my pleasure and honor to welcome somebody who's a fighter, an advocate, and I would even use the word champion for child safety, and that's Ms. Yvonne Ambrose.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for allowing me to come speak with you today. It is an honor to be in a room full of people who want to bring home our missing children. I thank you for all of your hard work and sacrifices you've made to protect our youth. Growing up, we were warned about stranger danger by our parents. We were told not to take candy from anyone, not to get in a car with anyone who our parents didn't send to pick us up. We were also told to be aware of that person driving that white van with the sliding door. These were the days when we had less technology and less access to the world outside of our front door. Nowadays, we have to worry about so much more. As a single mom raising 2 children, I tried installing these same values. The problem with that is teaching them the way my parents taught me, not taking into consideration the internet and the access our youth have to the world. As technology grows, bad actors find more ways to take advantage of our children. They're on social media, video games, and in the palm of our children's hands every day with these cell phones. On December 24th, 2016, my outlook on the world changed. My daughter, Desiree, was brutally murdered after being trafficked and purchased for sex on Backpage.com. She had been taken to a John's house by a pimp for sex. When she said no, the John raped her, beat her, strangled her, and then slit her throat. She didn't know what this person had in store for her. She didn't know she was even being trafficked until days before her demise. She didn't know the dangers of sex trafficking because nowadays it's a mental enslavement instead of just the physical enslaving. Desiree is like most children. They want to make friends everywhere, but are not educated on the dangers that lurk on the internet. She was a girl who wanted the world and was misled by a 32-year-old man to believe that she could have it if she did what he wanted her to do. You see, Desiree is every child in the world. She's my child, your child, our nieces and nephews, our cousins, and our students. They just want to fit in the world in some way and are influenced by the wrong people. The problem is sex trafficking has taken over the world in ways that most people don't know. I myself was one of them. These children are coming home every night to their families. These children are being solicited by people on the internet via video games, social media sites, and classified sites such as Backpage.com. And the list goes on and on. These children don't know who's on the other end of that connection. It's time for us to take a stand as a community to educate people about the dangers of sex trafficking. I've learned over the past 2 years about sex trafficking, and I feel I need to bring awareness to the situation. This has been in the dark too long, and too many children are coming up missing. If we don't stand up for our children, who will? If we don't talk to our youth about the new age of sex trafficking, then we are part of the problem and not a part of the solution. It's time we take back control over what our children are exposed to. This is an epidemic just like AIDS was. So we need to use the media, the billboards, the internet, and whatever our youth have access to in order to warn them about the dangers of sex trafficking. Too many children are missing, and it's time we bring them home. Desiree was only missing for 3 weeks, but this was 3 weeks too long. We need law enforcement to take missing child seriously. It's time we make stronger laws against human trafficking. We need to prevent our children from being trafficked by exposing them to the horrors that lurk out there. Be the change you want to see in the world. I would like to thank everyone in the room for all you have done to fight against sex trafficking. We have a long way to go, but together we can make a better tomorrow. Desiree is no longer here to tell her story, but I will not let her spirit die with her body. My name is Yvonne Ambrose, founder of the Desiree Foundation Against Sex Trafficking. I'm here speaking on behalf of my daughter, Desiree, who no longer has a voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ambrose, for those inspiring remarks. We have a lot to learn from your experiences and your courage and your strength. Thank you. At this time, I would like to reintroduce the Lawrence E. Boone Elementary School Choir for their second song, Tomorrow. I want to thank all of our young singers for their performance today. Accompanying the choir are their chaperones, Tony Patton, Colomo Bailey, and the school principal, Linda McMillan. Oh, I always love this part of the ceremony. It's just the best. I'd also like to ask choir director Jaden Bradshaw to please come up to the podium. Jaden? In closing, I would like to acknowledge the efforts of several organizations and individuals who worked tirelessly every day to keep children safe, as well as those who have worked so hard to make today's ceremony a reality. First, I would like to recognize the members of the Federal Task Force of Missing and Exploited Children, which the Department of Justice formally established on Missing Children's Day in 1995. Since that time, the task force has been a significant influence and leader in improving the safety of children through the development, delivery, and coordination of services and resources on the national level. I would also like to thank the staff, board, and Law Enforcement Advisory Council of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which is truly an impressive public-private partnership. I thank the staff from the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children, representatives from the National Children's Alliance, the National Children's Advocacy Center, the Child Exploitation and Obscenity Section of the Justice Department, the Executive Office for U.S. Attorneys, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, Fox Valley Technical College, and our National Poster Contest judges. I would like to thank and acknowledge representatives of the Victims of Child Abuse Act programs, which OJJDP funds to provide national leadership training and advocacy for local children's advocacy centers. Children's advocacy centers have revolutionized our nation's response to child sexual abuse. In addition, OJJDP supports collaboration between the Internet Crimes Against Children task forces and children's advocacy centers. In 2018, nearly 900 children's advocacy centers served more than 367,000 abused children. I thank the staff of the Amber Alert Training and Technical Assistance Program administered by the National Criminal Justice Training Center of Fox Valley Technical College. They have contributed to the development of both the Amber Alert Field Guide for law enforcement officers and the second edition of the Amber Alert Best Practices Guide. The Amber Alert Training and Technical Assistance Program also hosted the 2019 Family Survivors Roundtable yesterday, which was held at the National Center. I'd like to take this time to thank the families that participated in that event and acknowledge them for being here with us today as well. I would also like to thank my staff for guiding those processes to completion. and putting in countless hours to plan and pull together this event. I offer a special thank you to Ed O'Callahan and Matt Dummermuth for taking time out of their busy schedules to be with us today and helping to make this ceremony a success. We would also like to thank our speakers, John Clark and Yvonne Ambrose, and the Lawrence E. Boone Elementary School Choir for joining us. Thanks as well to all of you for taking time out of your day to share this special moment to recognize individuals who have gone above and beyond to protect our nation's children. Before we close, I encourage everyone to support the National Center's Runaway Train effort throughout May and in recognition of missing children and their families. All right, this brings to a close our 2019 commemoration of Missing Children's Day. Thank you all for coming. We hope to see you next year.